The audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No cheers, boos, or other interruptions, except right now, as we welcome to the stage former Vice President Joe Biden and President Donald J. Trump.
Boo! Boo! Boo, you stink! Boo! Boo! I mean, she said except right now, so.
When I closed and banned China from coming in heavily infected, and then ultimately Europe, but China was in January. Months later, he was saying I was xenophobic. I did it too soon. Now he's saying, oh, I should have, moved quicker. But he didn't move quicker. He was
the travel ban on
behind
China was after
many
the virus
me.
is already in
And
America.
frankly,
His travel
he
ban
ran
on
the
China
H1N1
didn't do anything. Pretty much all
swine
experts
flu,
say that.
And it was a total disaster. Had that had this kind of numbers, 700,000 people would be dead right now. As you know, was his chief of staff said it was catastrophic.
If Biden was in my position,
it was horrible. We didn't know
billion,
what we were doing. Now he
billion,
comes up and he tells us how to
quadrillion
do
people
this.
would have died.
Also, everything that he said
I did
about
the
way
best job
every
ever.
single move, we're learning to live with it. We have no choice.
We're
We
learning
can't
to
lock
live with
ourselves up in a basement like Joe does. He has
We can't lock
he has
ourselves
the
up in a
ability to lock
basement.
himself up. I don't know. He's obviously
We can't
made a lot
go
of
to
money
solitary
someplace,
confinement,
but he
folks.
has
It's
this
too bad.
thing about
It's
living
too
in a
bad.
basement. I learned a lot.
I learned
Great
so
doctors,
much,
great
folks.
hospitals. And now
Nobody
I
knew that
recovered.
COVID could be this complicated.
99.9 of young people recover. 99% of people recover. We have to
Everyone
recover.
has
We can't
recovered.
close up
There's
our
no
nation.
such
We
thing
have
as a
to open our
coronavirus,
school,
folks. Everyone
and
has
we
recovered.
can't close up our nation, or you're not going to have a nation.
And of course, the CDC has said young people can get sick with COVID-19 and can pass it. Vice President Biden, I want to talk
It's like when you
broadly
close the
about
restaurant,
strategy.
folks. When you close the
No.
restaurant, the
Yes.
restaurant
30
disappears. It's
seconds,
very
please, and then I
bad.
have a question.
No, number one, he says that we're learning to
And
live
Trump
with it.
impression is like the
People are
worst
learning to
impression
die with
of
it.
Trump
You
ever.
folks home
I
have
make
an
my
empty
voice
chair
so
at the kitchen table
ridiculously
this morning.
deep. His
That
voice is
man and
nowhere
wife
near
going to
that
bed
deep.
It's not my fault that he came here. It's China's fault. And you know what? It's not Joe's fault that he came here.
We need to
either.
stop politicizing
It's
the
China's
virus,
fault.
folks. We
They
need to
kept
stop.
it from going
We need
into the
to
rest
stop
of China for the
politicizing the
most
China
part,
virus,
but they
folks. It's
didn't
very
keep it
bad.
from coming
It's
out
very
to the
bad when you
world,
politicize the
including
China
Europe and
virus,
ourselves.
folks.
Be gone by Easter. Don't worry. The warm weather. Don't worry. Maybe inject bleach. He said
Inject
he
bleach,
said that.
folks.
A lot of people thought it was serious.
Perhaps just to finish this, I was kidding on that, but just to finish this,
He's so mad.
when I closed,
Talked about his xenophobia in a different context. It wasn't about closing the border to Chinese coming to the United States.
All right, I want to talk about both of your different strategies to
he
handling
thought
this.
I shouldn't have closed the border.
Well,
That's obvious.
Do you want to respond to that quickly, Vice President
No.
Biden? Okay. Let's talk about your different strategies toward dealing with this. Mr. Vice President,
Online
close
school,
it down.
it
Vice
really,
President Biden, your
it's
response.
not that bad.
We ought to
It's
be able
not
to
that
walk and
bad,
chew gum
man.
at the same time. We ought to be able to safely open.
It's not
But
ideal,
They need
but like,
resources to open. You
It
need
ain't
to be
the end
able
of the
to, for
world,
example,
mate.
if you're going to open a business, have social distancing within the business.
It'll be the end
You
of the
need to
world if we have
a
online
restaurant, you need to
schooling,
have
folks. It's never been
plexiglass
done
dividers
before.
so people
Even before
cannot
we had universal
infect
schooling,
one
it's very
another. You
bad.
need
President Trump, let me follow up with you quickly.
By the way, I
on-
will say this.
Look
You
at his
go and
face
look at
right
what's happened
there.
to New York.
His face is just
It's
like,
a ghost town. It's a ghost town.
New York.
And when you talk about plexiglass, these are restaurants that are dying. These are businesses with no money. Putting up plexiglass is unbelievably expensive, and it's not the answer. I mean, you're going to sit there in a cubicle wrapped around with plastic. These are businesses that are dying, Joe. You can't do that to people. You
But you
just
could-
can't. Take a look at New York
You
and
can't
what's
do
happened to
you
my
can't do
wonderful
plexiglass.
city.
Plexiglass will be the end of
For
the
so
world,
many
folks.
years, I loved it. It was vibrant. It's dying.
It'll be the end of
Everyone's leaving
American
New York.
Western
Take a look
democracy,
at what New York has
plexiglass.
done in
I'm
terms
always
of
saying
turning the
this.
curve
I'm
down
always
in terms of the
saying
number
this.
of people dying. And I don't look at this in terms of the way he does. Blue states and red states. They're all the United States. And look at the states that are having such a spike in the coronavirus. They're the red states. They're the states in the Midwest. They're the states in the upper Midwest. That's where the spike is occurring significantly.
He's so
But
mad.
they're all
He's
Americans.
so mad. Look at
All
his
Americans.
face.
And what we have to do is say, wear these masks, number one. Make sure we get the help that the businesses need that has money's already been passed to do that. It's been out there since the beginning of the summer, and nothing's happened.
President, New York has lost more than 40,000 people, 11,000 people in nursing homes.
President Trump, what
When you
about-
say
You
smile,
know he's not the governor of
take
New
a
York,
look at what's
right?
happening in Pennsylvania, where they've had it closed. Take a look at what's happening with your friend in Michigan, where her husband's the only one allowed to do anything. It's been like a prison. Now it was just ruled unconstitutional.
Okay, you
Take a
notice
look at
how
North
he's like
Carolina.
naming these
They're having spikes, and
these
they've been
random
closed, and
specific
they're getting
cases with
killed
no like
financially.
numbers
We
stated
can't
when
let
the
that
actual
happen, Joe.
reality
You
is that
can't let
most of
that
the
happen.
spikes have
We
been
have
in
to open up,
Republican
and we understand
states.
the
That's just
disease.
the
We have to
reality.
protect our seniors. We have to protect our elderly. We have to protect especially our seniors with heart problems and diabetes problems, and we will protect them. We have the best testing in the world by far. That's why we have so many cases.
Let me follow up
It's a
with you
joke.
before we move on to
He's
our next
still
section.
saying
President
this.
Trump
He's
did
still
speak about
saying
Dr.
this
Anthony
fucking
Fauci,
bullshit.
the nation's best-known infectious disease expert, quote, a disaster. You described him and other medical experts as, quote, idiots. If you're not listening to them, who are you listening to as you fight this?
I'm listening to all of them, including Anthony. I get along very well with Anthony, but
Very
he
well.
did say, don't wear a mask.
You told me to go fuck myself yesterday, so I considered that very, very good, especially in comparison to my
I
wife.
think he's a Democrat.
To my
but
wife,
that's okay.
Melania,
He said this is
folks.
not
She
going to
tells
be a
me that at
problem.
least 6 times
We
a
are
day,
not going to have a
folks.
problem at all. Nobody knew what this thing was. Nobody knew where
Nobody
it was
knew.
coming from. What
Nobody
it was.
knew.
We've
Nobody
learned a lot.
knew.
But Anthony said, don't wear masks. Now he wants to wear masks. Anthony also said,
I heard a lot
if
of
you look
people
back,
saying a
exactly
lot
what
of
you said,
things that I didn't know
this is
anything.
no problem.
Even
This is
when
gonna go
everyone
away
was,
soon. So
even
he's
when
allowed to
everyone
make
was saying it, and
mistakes. He
even
happens to be a
at
good
that exact time, I
Vice
was
President
saying
Biden.
I was extremely bad, and I'm going to downplay
President knew in
it. But folks,
January, didn't tell the American
I gotta tell you, nobody
He was
knew.
told
Folks.
this was a
Nobody knew.
serious virus that spread in the air, and it was much worse than the flu. He went on record and said to one of your colleagues, recorded, that in fact he knew how dangerous it was, but he didn't want to tell us. He didn't want to tell us because he didn't want us to panic.
I could raise so much more money as president and as
I
somebody
raised
that
every,
knows most
I
of those
raised
people.
I raised
I
the
could
money
blow
of the
heads
entire
Wall
GDP
Street,
of the
heads
entire
every
world in 5
company in
nights, folks. It was
America.
it was
I would
amazing.
blow away every record, but I don't want to do
Every
that
single
because
record,
it puts me in
folks.
a bad position. And then you bring up Wall Street. You shouldn't be bringing up Wall Street.
I would
because you're
win
the one that
today,
takes
folks,
the
but it
money
would
from
put me
Wall
in a
Street,
bad
not
position
me.
because
I
then they would call
I
me a
could blow
fascist
away
dictator,
your
and that would be
records
very bad,
that,
folks.
like, you
That'd be
wouldn't
very
believe. We don't
bad. I
need
don't
money.
like
We
the
have
media
plenty of money. In
saying
fact,
that
we
fake
beat Hillary
news
Clinton
about
with a tiny
me.
fraction
Fake news.
of the money that she was
Fake
able
All
to
right,
use.
gentlemen, we're going
Don't
to move
tell me
on.
about
I think
West.
there's a risk.
Will, in fact,
Yeah,
pay a price
the
because they're
way
affecting our
Trump's handled
sovereignty.
this has been like
President Trump,
shockingly.
same question to you.
Yeah,
Let
that's-
me ask the question. You're
Like,
going to have 2
even
minutes
from
to
his
respond. For
perspective,
2
it's been
elections
a
in a row
complete
now, there
and
has
utter
been substantial
disaster.
interference.
Under audit. I'm going to release them as soon as we can. I want to do it. I'm going to show how successful.
He's been
how
saying
great
this for 5
company
years,
is, but
man.
much
Come
more importantly
on.
than that, I don't make money from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine.
You do.
I don't make money
You
from
do.
Russia.
I know.
You made $3.5 million, Joe, and your son.
I
gave
know you are,
they
but
even
what
have a
am I?
statement that we have to give 10% to the big man. You're the big man, I think. I don't know. Maybe you're
What?
not, but you're the big man, I think.
What the
Your son
fuck?
said we have to give 10% to the big man.
I don't
Joe,
know if
what's
you're
that
the
all
big man,
about?
but maybe
It's
you're the big
terrible.
man.
All right,
So if
gentlemen, I
you're the
wanna
big
ask you
man, then
both
that's
some
bad.
questions
If
about
you're the
all
big
of
man,
this.
so that's
I'm gonna let
bad.
you
So
both
vote for me,
respond very
folks.
quickly.
Trump
You just said
2020.
you spoke to. We're going to release
I
the
get
American
treated
The
people.
audits
worse
that's
than
been
the Tea
going on
Party got
for
treated.
like
Because you have a lot
like
of
5
people in there
years.
deep down in the IRS. They treat me
Get the
horribly.
fuck
We made a
outta
deal. It was
here.
all set. IRS very unfairly.
Very bad.
But
Why did he's been saying this for 4 years?
Exactly.
Show us. Just show us. Stop playing around. You've been saying for 4 years
Everybody
you're going to
knows
release your taxes. Nobody knows it, Mr. President. What they do know is you're not paying your taxes, or you're paying taxes that are so low. When last time he said what he paid, he said, I only pay that little because I'm smart. I know how to game the system. Come on. Come on, folks.
Mueller
Very unfair.
and
folks.
18 angry Democrats and FBI agents
Dude,
all
he's
over
such
the
a
place
snowflake.
spent
Like, he
$48
keeps- he
million.
complains.
They went
Like,
through everything I had.
Conservatives talk
including my
about
tax returns,
snowflakes and,
they found
and liberals
absolutely
complain,
no
whatever.
collusion
All
and
he
nothing
does
wrong.
is fucking
48 million.
complain.
I guarantee you, if I
Complain.
spent
Everyone's
$1 million
so
on
unfair.
you, I could find
Constantly.
plenty more.
Over and
Because
over
the
again.
kind of
Holy
things that you've
fuck.
done, and you do live very well. You have houses all over the place. You live very well.
All right, gentlemen, let me just ask some questions about all of this.
Aren't you the one
Vice
claiming
President
to
Biden,
be
there
a
have been
billionaire? What the
questions
fuck?
A report this week, which was referenced, does indicate that your company has a bank account in China. So how can voters know that you don't have any foreign conflicts of interest?
I have many bank accounts, and they're all listed, and they're all over the place. I mean, I was
They're
a
all over the
businessman
place. I have so
doing
many
business.
bank accounts.
The bank
I do
account
so
you're
much
referring
business.
to-
There's a reason why he's bringing up all this malarkey. There's a reason.
Malarkey.
He doesn't want to talk about the substantive issues. It's not about his family and my family.
He said the beam.
It's about your family.
but
And your family's
unironically.
hurting badly. If you're making less than
I want
That is a
to talk
typical
about
statement.
North Korea.
Excuse me,
I do want to
typical
turn to
statement.
10 seconds, Mr.
Typical
President. 10 seconds.
leftard.
Political statement.
Need to get on to the next.
So when I met with Barack Obama,
Hussein
we sat
Obama.
in the White House right at the beginning, had a great conversation. It was supposed to be 15 minutes, and it was well over an hour. He said,
Too
the biggest
long,
problem we
folks,
have
too
with
long.
32 million people in Seoul. Millions of people would be
Okay.
dead right now.
President
we
Trump,
don't have
that's
a war,
30
and I have a
seconds.
good
Thank you.
relationship.
Vice President Biden, to you. North Korea conducted 4 nuclear tests under the Obama administration. Why do you think you would be
That
able
was
to
so
rein
fucking
in this
incoherent,
persistent
like,
threat?
holy
because I'd
shit.
make it clear, which we were making clear to China, they had to be part of the deal. Because here's the I made it clear, and as a spokesperson of the administration when I went to China, that they said, "Why are you moving your missile defense up so
I'm
close?
just
Why are you
like, this is
moving
one of
more
those
forces
moments
here?
where I
Why are you
realized that
continuing
the
to do,
actual matchup was Trump v. Biden, and I'm just like, holy
military
fuck.
maneuvers with South Korea. Talked about his good buddy, who's a thug,
Got
and he
him.
talks about how we're better off, and they have much more capable missiles.
Yeah,
He didn't
very
like-
cringe.
Obama. He
Low
didn't
energy,
like it.
folks.
He wouldn't do
Very
it.
bad.
Okay, I got to
No,
give
Low
it a chance
energy.
to respond to a lot of
Like, it was
questions.
more
A lot of
fun when
questions
Trump
to
was like
get to.
interrupting him like unironically like every like 5 seconds. It was actually like hilarious. I missed that format more. Like
The reason
even
he would
if
not
because
meet
like
with President Obama is
Biden,
because
people said
President Obama
Biden
said,
won the
"We're gonna
debate
talk about
anyways. It didn't end up mattering.
denuclearization.
So
We're
even
not
if it
gonna
ended up being
legitimize you. We're
total
gonna
shit
continue to
fest, it
put
would at least be
stronger and stronger
entertaining.
Sanctions on you.
Great
What was your
people.
question again?
Run it as well as you
wasn't
can.
able
I
to
could have gone the
fucking
other
listen.
route and made everybody very unhappy. They ran it. Premiums are down. Everything's down. Here's the problem. No matter how well you run it, it's no good. What we'd like to do is terminate
What
it.
is he talking
We have the
about?
individual mandate done. I don't know that it's going to work. If we don't win, we will
This
have
is
to
so
run it, and we'll
incoherent.
have
I have no
Obamacare, but it'll
idea
be better
what
run.
kind of point
But
he's
it no
trying to
longer
make.
is Obamacare, because without the individual mandate, it's much different. Pre-existing conditions will
What?
always stay. What I would like to do is a much better health care, much better, will always protect people with pre-existing. So I'd like to terminate Obamacare, come up with a brand new, beautiful health care. The Democrats will do it because there'll be tremendous pressure on them, and we might even have the House by that time, and I think we're going to win the House, okay? You'll see, but I think we're going to win the House. But come up with a better health care,
That's
always
delusion.
protecting people. They want to terminate 180 million plans. We have done an incredible job on health care, and we're going to do even
It's not
better.
true. I wish that's what he
Okay,
wanted to do.
Vice President Biden, yes,
He-
this is for
he-
you. Your
he's
health care
not.
plan calls for building on
He's-
Obamacare. So my
yeah,
question
he
is,
is
what is your
not,
plan
in fact,
if the
for,
law is ruled
Medicare for all,
unconstitutional by the
which I
Supreme
think
Court?
is what
You
he's
have
trying
2
to
minutes
suggest it is.
uninterrupted.
What I'm going to do is pass.
He likes to
Obamacare with a
pretend
public
like
option.
he's running against
Become
Bernie or
Biden.
something.
Public
It's
option
fucking
is an option that
hilarious.
says that if you, in fact, do
It
not
also
have the
make me
wherewithal to be, if you
makes me
qualify for
wish
Medicaid and you do not have the wherewithal
an alternate
in your
reality
state to get
debate
Medicaid,
in
you
which
automatically
Bernie is
enroll,
actually
providing
debating
competition
against Trump.
because you've lost your
Feels
home
like
insurance,
sabotage almost.
your health insurance. Your
I mean, it
company's
kind of
providing.
was if you know the
We have
story
to
about
provide health
how
insurance for
Obama
people
did
and
the
an
whole
affordable
like
rate. That's what I
crazy
do.
President Trump,
Excuse me, he was
you're
there
responsible.
political
for
maneuver with
47
the
years. He
with the
didn't do it.
endorsements.
He was
right before
now
Super
there as
Tuesday.
vice
It
president
kinda
for 8
was,
years,
but,
and
like,
it's not like it was 25 years ago. It was
there are a bunch of
3
shady deals
and 3
around
quarters.
that
It
allow
was
Biden
just
to become
a little
the
while ago,
Democratic
right?
nominee.
Less than 4 years ago. He didn't do anything. He didn't do it. He wants socialized medicine, and it's not that he wants it. His vice president, I mean, she is more liberal than Bernie Sanders and wants it even more. Bernie Sanders wants it. The Democrats want it.
Kamala,
You're going to have
I
socialized
wish.
medicine. He tried to get
10
rid of. He
seconds, Mr.
tried to hurt
President, and then I
Social
have to go to
Security
another
years
question.
ago.
He's very
Years
bad,
ago.
folks. He's very
Go
bad.
back and look at the
He's
records.
bad.
He
He's
tried,
bad.
and he doesn't come from Scranton. That's like one of the, he lived there for a short period of time before he even knew
we're
it.
gonna move
He
on to
doesn't
the
even
next
come from
question.
Scranton,
People in
folks.
Pennsylvania
Let me
will
move
show
on
you
to
that.
my next
He's a
question.
fraud. He's
Gentlemen.
very
As
bad,
of tonight,
folks.
more
Very
than 12
bad.
million PC, but the United States can't locate the parents of more than 500 children. So how will these families ever be reunited?
Children are brought here by coyotes and lots of bad people, cartels, and they're brought here, and they used to use them to get into our country. We now have as strong a border as we've ever had. We're over 400
By
miles of brand
coyotes?
new wall. You see
Like
the
the
numbers. And we let
coyotes
people in,
steal
but they
the
have to come
children
in
and then
legally,
they
and come
they
in
jump
through
the
But
the
border
how
like
many women
Let me
leave
just tell
kids
you.
with their
and then
families?
they leave the
They
children
built
on the other
cages.
side
You know,
of the
they used to
border.
say
Do you
they
have a
built
plan to
cages.
reunite the kids
Yes,
with
we're
their
working on
families?
it we're trying very hard. But a lot of these kids come out without the parents. They come over through cartels and through coyotes
Wait,
and
him
through
making this
gangs.
point
Vice
doesn't
President
work
Biden, let me bring you
because
into
border
making that
to
point
make it a
assumes
disincentive to come to
that
begin
what
with.
you're doing is bad.
He did nothing except build cages to keep children in.
Vice President
What?
Biden, response.
The catch and release.
But
you know what he's
this
talking
this
about
criticism
there?
doesn't
If in
make
fact
sense
you
because
had
you're also doing
family
that, but to an even
came
greater
across and
extent.
they were
So
arrested,
what?
They in fact
Whoa.
need to show up for their hearing.
Trump will literally
They were
use
released.
anything
And
to
guess
own
what?
the
They
libs,
showed up
even his own
for a hearing.
policies.
This is
Oh
the
my
first president in the
god.
history of the United States of America.
Go ahead.
All right, let's talk about our next section, which is race in America. And I want to
Ken,
talk
oh
about
my
the way
God.
black and brown Americans experience race
Oh
in
my
this country.
God.
Part
Oh
of that
my God.
experience is something called the talk.
The fact of the matter is, there is institutional racism in America. And we have always said.
I mean, I'm not
we've
willing
never
to
lived
do
up
anything about
we
it,
hold these
but it
truths to be
exists.
self-evident. All men and women are created equal. But guess what? We have never, ever lived up to it. But we've always constantly been moving the needle.
I'm certainly not
further
going to
and
be
further
living up to it under my
inclusion,
administration.
not
But
exclusion.
And they were called, and he called them super predators.
he keeps saying
And
this.
said
He never
that.
said
He
this.
it, super predators.
He
And
keeps
they
saying
have
that he
never
said
lived
this.
That down. 1994. Your
He
crime
keeps saying-
bill,
he keeps
the
saying
super
that he said
predators.
this.
Nobody has done more for the black community.
And he keeps
than
saying
Donald
this
Trump.
too.
And if you look,
And it's not working.
with
Like
the
nobody,
exception of
it's obviously
Abraham
not
Lincoln,
working. Why
possible
would he
exception,
keep
but
saying
the
this?
exception of
Why
Abraham
does he
Lincoln,
think that saying
nobody
this
has
will
done
work?
what
Everyone's
I've done.
extremely fucking
Criminal
disturbed
justice
by it.
reform. Obama
Holy
and
fuck.
Joe didn't do it.
They should be going to rehabilitation, not to jail. We should fundamentally change the system, and that's what I'm going to do.
But why didn't he do it 4 years ago?
Why didn't you do it
4
for-
years ago? Even less than that. Why didn't you?
I
do it?
am-
You're
Why
the
didn't
vice
you do
president.
it over
keep
the
talking
last
about
4
all these
years?
things
You're the
gonna do,
president,
and
he
you're
was
gonna
the
do
vice
this.
president.
But
How
you were
the
there
fuck-
just a short time ago.
You know our reputations for honor and telling the truth. I am anxious
Yeah,
to have this race.
Terrible,
I'm
both
anxious
of
to
you.
see this take place.
You lie
I
all the
am-
time. It's
character
it's on
of the
record.
country is on the ballot.
Stay on the issue of race. We're talking about the issue.
Laptop from hell.
President Trump,
No,
we're
buddy.
talking about
Laptop from
race
hell?
right now, and I do
What
want to
the
stay
fuck?
on the issue of race.
I am the least racist person in this room.
But what do you say to Americans who are concerned by that rhetoric?
I don't know.
by
I
the-
mean, I
the
don't know
views?
what to say. I got justice reform done and prison reform and opportunity zones. I took care of black colleges and universities. I don't know what to say. They can say anything. I mean, they can say anything. It makes me sad because I am the least racist person. I can't even see
Nobody
the audience
believes
because
this.
It's so dark. But I don't care who's in the audience.
Nobody
I'm the
believes
least
this.
racist person.
Like, do you
in this
really
room.
think this is going to
Okay,
work?
Vice
Oh
President
my
Biden,
god.
let me ask.
But
okay,
why
so-
didn't he get it done? See, it's all talk, no action with these politicians. Why didn't he get
You're
it
a
done? That's
politician.
what I'm going to do.
You're a president for 4 years. What?
You're
Oh.
vice president, along with Obama as your president, your leader, for 8 years. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years to get it done. Now you're saying you're going to get it done because
Get all
you're all talk and
done.
no action, Joe.
We got a
Your
lot of it
response.
done. We released
didn't get
38,000. We
anything
got
done.
38,000 prisoners left from.
You got
out-
nothing done.
38,000 prisoners were released from federal prison.
Why didn't you do it?
Okay,
You just said,
why
"I'm gonna
didn't you
that,
do it?
I'm
You're
gonna do this."
president.
You put tens of
Because-
thousands of mostly black young men in prison. Now you're saying you're going to undo that. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years with Obama. You know why,
Because-
Joe? Because you're all talk and no action.
All right, Vice President
Because
Biden,
we had
and
a
then we're
different-
going to move on to the next section.
We had a Republican Congress. That's the answer.
You gotta talk them into it, Joe. Sometimes
right.
you got to talk them into it.
We're going to move on to our next section,
Like I
which
did
is
with criminal
climate
justice
change.
reform. I had
Okay.
to talk Democrats into it.
Gentlemen,
my
we're running out of
Done it.
time, so we got to get on to
Okay.
climate change, please.
Oh
you
my
both
God.
have very different visions on climate change.
The memes in
President
this are
Trump,
so
you say
weird.
that
They're like the
environmental
memes in
regulation
this
could
are
hurt
not like the
jobs in the energy
spicy memes
sector.
of the last
Vice
debate. They're
President
just like
Biden,
really,
you
really
have said
awkward
you see
memes.
addressing climate change.
We have the Trillion Trees program. We have so many different
The
programs.
Trillion fisheries
do
program.
love the
I do all of the
environment, but what I
programs,
want
all
is the
the clean
cleanest,
environment,
crystal clear
cleanest
water,
coal,
the cleanest air.
the
We
cleanest
have
coal,
the best,
the clean
lowest
air,
number
clean
in
enough
carbon
pollution, even
emissions,
though
which is a big
we're upping
standard
all
that
of
I
the
notice Obama goes
co-production.
with.
He thinks wind causes cancer, windmills. It's the fastest growing jobs, and they pay good prevailing wages, 45, 50 bucks an hour.
I know more about wind than you do.
Oh.
It's extremely expensive, kills all the birds, it's
Kills
very
the
intermittent.
birds.
It's got a lot of problems, and
Very
they happen to
bad.
make the windmills in both
Very
Germany and
bad.
China. And the fumes coming up, if you're a believer in carbon emission, the fumes coming up to make these massive windmills is more than anything that we're talking about with natural gas, which is very clean. One other thing.
Find me a
Solar.
scientist said that.
All right,
Now
let
we
me
have to ask
let
him
me
about
allow
fracking.
Vice President
I
Biden to
have
respond.
never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on
I-
tape.
You
did
probably
show
should.
the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website. The fact of the matter is,
Showed
he's
it last-
flat lying.
Would you
Flat-
rule out banning fracking?
Meaning,
I do
I
rule
wish
out
he
banning
wasn't.
fracking because
I
the
wish
answer
he wasn't lying.
we need other industries
Dude,
to
dude,
transition.
I don't know
to
if you
get
know
to
this, but actually
ultimately
Trump was the
complete
grandmaster
zero emissions
airbender
by
of the
2025.
fucking
What I
North
will do
Air
with fracking
Temple,
over
so
time
everyone should
is
trust him
make sure
on
that we
air.
can
He knows all of the
capture
winds.
The emissions.
One
Is he gonna
final
get
question.
China
I
to
remember,
do
No, we're
I
finished with
remember
this.
I
We
walked
have to move
outside.
on
There
to
was
our
a cool
final
breeze.
question. We have to
I'm
move
going
on
to
to our
rejoin
final
Cool
Paris
question.
breeze. It
Accord and
flowed
make China
through my hair. It
abide
was like
by
whoosh,
what they
and
agreed
then
to.
All right, this
my
is
clothes
about
they were
leadership,
whooshing, and I was like, and
gentlemen. And this
it
first
brushed against
question
my skin,
does go
and
to
I was
you,
like, oh my
President
god,
Trump.
the pain,
Imagine this
the
is
pain
your
of the wind.
inauguration.
It could not
What
be
will you
stopped.
say in your
And then,
address to
and then I
America- to
passed out.
Americans who did
They had to
not vote
drag
for
me
you?
inside my
You'll each have
apartment
1 minute,
because
starting with you,
We
I
have to
almost died
make
there
our
because of the
country
horrific
successful,
effects
as it was prior
of,
to the
of
plague
winds.
coming in from China. Black unemployment numbers in the history of our country.
best black.
Hispanic, women, Asian.
We
people
had
with
the best
diplomas with
Asian.
no
Really appreciate it. President Trump, former Vice President Joe Biden, thank you to Belmont University for hosting us tonight. And most importantly, thank you to those watching tonight. Election Day is November 3rd. Don't forget to vote. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
Thank you.
Wow, that was awful. I'm glad that's done. That was horrific. I don't think this is going to move anything. This debate was shockingly boring, and I don't really see anyone sort of like changing their mind based on what was said here. Everything here was pretty standard. We knew where everyone was standing coming into this, and there weren't any like significant like developments or new things with regards to that. So I think we all sort of like knew what it was going in, and it's the same going out. But more importantly, it was just pretty boring without all the interruptions. It just kind of became like a lame meme. So yeah, bad meme, sucked. I rate like fucking, I don't know, 3.5 out of 10. Anyways, guys, see ya.